Welcome back to the Cherie Rickard Show, a podcast where faith and business intersect to inspire you and empower you as women. Each week, I'm sharing powerful messages of faith, offering practical business advice, and discussing strategies for achieving success. I'm featuring insightful conversations with industry leaders and faith-driven women, providing you with tools and inspiration to grow your business while staying true to your spiritual values. Now let's get ready, ladies. Let's rise, pray, and conquer, and let's dive in. Do you ever feel like you're stuck in your story, ready for a new chapter, but not sure where to begin? I get it. After life's toughest challenges, whether it's grief, divorce, betrayal, or just feeling lost, it's easy to feel unsure, insecure about your next step. That's why I founded Queen Bee Transformation. At Queen Bee, we believe that adversity is not the end. It's a launch pad for a life reimagined. Our mission is to boldly empower women to rise, reclaim their power, and embrace their next chapter with resilience and grace. We're not just here to help you survive. We're here to help you thrive. One unapologetic laugh and actionable step at a time, your journey from acceptance to empowerment starts here. Just go to queenbeetransformation.com. Let me help you rebuild and let's transform your story together. That's queenbeetransformation.com. My guest, Michele Rupp, is an Emmy and Edward R. Murrow Award-winning broadcast journalist. She has spent 2 decades in the television news industry, and Michele created, launched, and produced Arkansas's first morning lifestyle show almost 25 years ago that is still in existence. Now Michele leverages her experience and expertise in television to get publicity for business owners across the country. She helps hundreds of business owners overcome the fear of being on television while creating media opportunities for them to have memorable television appearances. Well, hello, Michele. How are you?
Hello, Cherie. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. So we were chatting before about the conference that I'm doing next year, and you better be there. You better be there.
I mean, you sold me. So
I did? I sold you? Oh man, my marketing skills are better than I thought. But I am so excited because I want everyone to know that, if you're listening, conferences and retreats are incredible. I've been going to conferences for years, but I'm very selective on those that I go to because not only is it about what the speaker is giving to us and about the host that's putting on the conference and the retreat, it's also about networking. So who else is going to be in the room? And I will tell you, Judy did a really good job with making sure that the women that were in the room were very, very powerful and could impact the rest of us. So a lot of us got so many golden nuggets and seeds from just the women that were in the room in our networking time that we had, as well as the speakers. So I think it's incredible. And we'll talk more about that. But I want to dive into your expertise. And I want to hear your story first, because you impressed me. Well, first my sister met you, and then Carla introduced us. And then you stood up and you talked a little bit. And I'm just so impressed with, well, first of all, your accolades. I mean, come on now. You're an Emmy Award-winning journal. I mean, don't be shy. Don't be shy, Michele. I want you to tell everyone about your story and just kind of enlighten us and inspire us, because I know you filled me up and I know you will for the listeners.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I spent 20 years in television news. That is my background. And it's interesting. It started when I was in high school, and I remember having a woman who worked with my mom. They were co-directors of the children's ministry at the church I grew up at. Mm-hmm. And that woman came back, and I was a junior in high school, and she said, Michele, have you thought about what you want to be when you grow up? And I said, no, I haven't. I'm a junior, I just want to pass the ACT. I don't know. And I got a football game Friday night that I'm cheering. Right. I don't know. Right. And she said, you are going to be on television. I am. Okay. I could do that. over the holidays, she and her husband were back in their hometown in Indiana, and they were watching Indiana news. And she said there was a woman on the news that looked exactly like you. And she said, I turned to my husband and said, that's what Michelle's going to do. And I
Wow.
said, all right, yeah, that is what I'm going to do. And that was the seed that was planted my junior
Oh,
year of high school. And at that particular time, there was a local station that we watched religiously, 5, 6, and 10 every night. And I remember from that point forward saying, I'm going to be a reporter on that television station. Fast forward however many years. And in 2002, I had already been working at that station. But in 2002, I had the opportunity to be a reporter at that television station.
wow.
And that just her seed of saying, this is what you're going to do, planted deep, deep.
Mm.
And I thought, yeah, that is what I'm going to do. And I'll tell you, it made college real easy because I wasn't changing my major every time the wind blew. No, I'm going to be a reporter. I'm going to be a news anchor. What do I need to do? What do I need to learn? And so I then spent 20 years in television. I started as a producer. And for those who may not be familiar with what a producer is, they are the ones who craft what the newscast is going to look like,
Mhm.
or what the lifestyle show is going to look like. They are the ones who are the gatekeepers on lifestyle shows. We are the ones that say, yes, you'll be a good guest. No, you're not going to be a guest. Yes, you impressed me. Come on. No, you were rude. Never again on my show.
Wow.
That, and it truly is their show. And then when it comes to the 5, 6, 10, 11 o'clock news, 4 o'clock in the afternoon news, you have producers that do the placement of the stories. So what story is your top story? And then what's your second story? And do all that. They also have the ability or it is up to them to time the show, because a lot of times there are network hits that have to be met. And so that's what a producer does. So I started as a producer, then I became a reporter. I think everybody knows what a reporter is. We're standing in front of the burning building telling you the
Yeah.
building's on fire. And then I became an evening news anchor. I was a main anchor for a station in Virginia. And so I was sitting at the desk Monday through Friday, 5, 6, and 11. And I am giving you the news, and I am tossing out to the reporter who's standing in front of the building that's on fire. And and then at some point during that, one of my passions is weather. And so I decided I would go back to school and get a degree in meteorology. That being said, I freelanced briefly for a station doing weather, but that was for a very brief period of time. They were in between meteorologists. They needed somebody to just fill in and cover the weekend shift. And it was, Michelle, can you do this? Yes, I can. So we fast forward to now. I utilize all that experience, all those contacts, all that training of what makes a good story, what makes a good interview.
Mhm.
And I put that to use for business owners in the form of getting what in the business is called earned media. To dwindle that down, it is free media. I'm not talking about advertising. I'm not
Right.
talking about paying for a commercial, but I'm talking about utilizing skills and expertise and contacts to open doors
Mhm.
for businesses that maybe don't have an advertising budget,
Right.
or maybe they don't think they can afford to get on media, or they simply don't know how to do it. That is how I am able to take all of that and now use it for good and serve business owners across the country and
Yes.
getting them publicity.
So when my first book came out, Wake Up Call: A Mother's Grief Journey, I had a
Yeah.
publisher,
Uh-huh.
and he did have a contact in Baton Rouge. It was kind of really quick. Was in the middle of getting my daughter ready for her wedding. I had a house full of people, and I get a quick call and says, "Is today a good day? The Baton Rouge Advocate newspaper wants to come by and take a picture of you outside your home, holding a picture of my late son, Brian, which is what my book was about. I'm
Yep.
like, okay, yeah, sure. And so from that, it kind of took off. Then NBC asked me to come down to the studio and
Hmm.
do a quick story. So I did a quick story and I hoped no one watched it because the way they did the story, Michelle, I don't
Mm,
even, and I have nothing against Channel 33, NBC in Baton Rouge. They were so sweet and so kind. But the way the camera was working on me, they did not know the best side.
sure.
I was like, wrong profile, buddy. I did not like the way the camera was on me. And then they would focus on my hands. It was just the
Yeah.
weirdest thing, the way when I watched the 6 p.m. news, I just said, Lord, please don't let anybody watch this segment on NBC Channel 33. And so, of course, your family is going to be super nice, but they're thinking like I am. And the first thing that I get was from my sister. And she said, well, your nails looked good. And I knew right away that it was horrible. I was like, that was just, the story was wonderful. It was just about my son and how the book came about and all this. But the way they did it, I guess it was kind of squeezing me in and
Yeah.
it was just a little crazy. So that being said, if somebody has a book that's coming out and really wants to, podcast is a great thing, right?
Sure it
Podcast
is.
is free advertisement.
Yep.
Get on somebody's show that is in your genre. My show is Faith in Business, and anything business that can help women with their business and, also with their faith. I'm all about it. That's
Yep.
my arena. That's where my vibe is, and that's where I thrive. So if somebody wants to be able to contact the media and they don't have someone like you, how difficult is it to be able to say, get the attention of a reporter or an anchor or a producer or someone to be able to do that?
Yeah. It is difficult. It's not impossible. And there are some clients that I work with that take my course. My course teaches you how to find these people. Particularly when you are looking for the producer, that information is generally not available on a station website.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's all in how you present yourself and make that first impression, even in an email. It's also about the art of the follow-up because producers, reporters, anchors, they receive hundreds of emails a day. And I've even had some of my emails get caught up in a mass deletion where they come in and they're just like, my inbox is beyond robust. It is possible. And a lot of times, some of the first reach outs might be on social media. It might be through a DM. It might be a cold email that will, in fact, garner someone's attention and get media attention.
Right.
Because one thing to remember is, regardless of how big or small your town is, local news does rely on the local community to help tell them what is going on in that community. There were many times when people, I would say, as a reporter, we didn't know that was going on.
Right.
We didn't know about that story or this story. And people would look and say, our friends would say, how did you not know? And I would kind of laugh and say, like, we don't have a red phone that's connected to the underground, with people
Right.
like, we rely on the public to send a press release, to send a media alert, to let us know what is happening in the community so that then we can make the decision on whether or not it gets covered or not.
Right. So when you say a press release or a media alert, is that something that typically you would handle for your clients, or is
I
that
do.
something you do?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
All right.
Now, it is something that clients certainly are capable of doing on their own. And I've got as part of my course, I teach the 7 parts to a press release because although we are in the year of our Lord 2024, there
Mhm.
are some styles that date back to maybe the mid to late 1900s, if you will, that are tried and true that newspapers, newsrooms look for. And
Mm.
so there is a format where they are looking for that format. Regardless of what Google may tell you, or, if there's a service that you pay them and they put your press release together I've had plenty of people within the business that continue to say, there's something that we're looking for. We're looking for that structure, because there are enough press releases that are coming in that aren't structured, that the ones that do get the second look.
Yeah.
Oh, these people know what they're doing. Even if it's your first press release, you've already conveyed a certain level of credibility. You know what you're doing to provide the information in a format that newsrooms need and look for.
Right. Yeah, I know that my publisher did that, sent out a news release. And I guess that's what you're alluding to, because there were several different, I guess it was more of newspapers or just online alerts were picking it up, because
Yes.
I was getting alerts that was
Yes.
saying this particular person ran your story, or this person ran your story, or whatever. And I never really poured myself in because on how to do that, because he did that for me. But what was difficult is after we parted ways and I had to take my book back and redo the cover and redo all of that, not only did I have to learn how to reformat my book in a way of publishing it, self-publishing it when I had to take it back from the publisher, it didn't know all of those things. And there's so many different avenues and aspects to business. You're already working to get your business off the ground. So it's like, okay, I'm getting my business off the ground, or I'm getting my book, launched. What do I need to do? What's the proper launch? Who can launch this for me? Who can get me in front of the media? There's all these different people that really need to be on your team to help you, because there is not enough hours in the day to be able to do every single thing yourself. I know at the very beginning, I tried.
Yep. That's right.
And people would say, I just don't know how you do everything that you do and work in corporate America. And I thought, well, with very little sleep.
A lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee in my Queen Bee mug,
That's right.
But yeah, a lot of coffee, but also not very much sleep, which does not make for a very happy person, right? And so in order to keep my inner peace and my joy, because I wake up every morning with that same routine, I had to be able to release things and delegate those things out, because I am a control freak and I will take it all on, because I think, well, if I want it done right, I have to do it myself. And that's not necessarily true, because what you do, Michele, is not my expertise.
Right.
So me thinking that I can do this myself is hilarious, because it's just not possible. No more than someone can coach a woman in the way that I'm coaching them. I've been educated and went through the experience of adversity and have came out on the other side and have been educated to that, certified in that, not to mention the experience of it. Nobody can take that on unless you've done exactly what I've done.
That's right.
Walked in my shoes. So how important is it? Let's talk about the importance of media and how important it is for someone that is launching a book or launching a course or has a course or maybe is opening a business, whether it be a brick and mortar or an online store. How important is it?
It's a key tool. It's vital. And one thing that I'm always amazed at is when you go back and look through history, when there's been a recession or if a company feels that they need to tighten their belt, the very first thing in every instance that gets chucked is marketing and PR.
Yeah.
And that is the worst mistake that a business can make. When you are starting out, you've got a brick and mortar, you're starting online. And of course, right now, because of the digital age that we live in, everyone's hitting it hard on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. And those are all parts of a spoke of a wheel. So is what I call traditional media. And that is your radio, your TV, your newspaper. Not every community has television. Most every community has radio or newspaper.
Right.
That is so important, because how many times as a business owner have you heard, I had no idea your business was here?
Yes.
And you're like, really? Because I've only been in this community for 35 years. How did you not know?
Hmm.
I have a client in particular that comes to mind that is a local client, and they have said repeatedly, anytime we're on television, we see that day a bump in sales. And over the course of the next 7 to 10 days, we are seeing people that we've never seen before. And
Yeah.
some of them are local, and some have traveled from as far away as an hour to maybe 90 minutes away to come to our store. No one would know they were there
Right.
if they hadn't been on television, because not everyone knows to follow people on social media. They didn't even know this business existed. And
Right.
so for a brand awareness perspective, yes, all your friends and family know that your business, what your Facebook page is, what your Instagram page is, that you're centered online, but there's a whole world out there that has no idea that you exist.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to tap in to that group of people, to
Right.
those potential customers? A lot of people will say to me, we don't watch TV. We don't even own a TV. Everything we do is streaming. Absolutely. I stream too. But you know what? I've got clients that watch TV. You've got clients that watch TV. Keep doing the social media. Keep doing the digital ads. That's all part of it. This is another tool in that toolkit, but it's a tool that so many people overlook. And one of the things that it does is it immediately enhances your credibility. If you're an online business, man, how great does it feel to be able to put that as seen on banner on your website? How
Right.
great is it to have that social proof that channel NBC 33 in Baton Rouge
Yeah.
did a story on me? Doesn't matter when they did the story. Doesn't matter how the story was put together.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, whoa, you were on television?
It does something about credibility too, because when you're on TV, and I'm talking more of like in this sense, not if you're on TV because you're an actor or I don't even think
Right,
anybody listens to anything that they say anymore.
right, right.
It's so crazy these days. It's more of people, because reality TV is so big. Right. And everybody wants to see the reality of it. They don't even want to see the acting as much anymore. They want to see the reality. They want to see the behind the scenes. I don't know if it's because they want to forget about their own life. So they want to look at
It
someone
is.
else's,
Yep.
or what it is. But I think it's something to be said about reality and real people talking about real things and what is happening and what they're doing in their life, because everybody's got a story. I
They
think,
do.
and I was talking to a publisher today, and she said, I even made the comment. I said, does every story need to be told? And she said, absolutely.
Yes.
But it has to be told in the right time.
Yes.
You never know when it's time to write your story. So we encourage women to write now, start writing in those journals, because you never know when that's going to develop into you speaking on stage. Maybe it's at your church. Maybe it's on stages for a business conference. Maybe it's on media. Maybe it's something like that. Maybe you start a YouTube channel, whatever it is. I think it's so important that we start preparing for it, because I believe that we prepare, or God prepares us in private for what we're going to do in public. And I believe that saying that it's once opportunity hits, it's too late to prepare.
That's
So
right.
you need to start preparing if this is something that you're doing. And I'm sure
That's
you
right.
agree.
I agree completely. And having been in the media, we worked on the day to day. So if I'm calling you, I'm doing the story that day. I'm
Mm,
not doing it tomorrow, and I'm not doing it next week. That is my story. That's my story assignment for the day. And here's the thing. My deadline is 3 o'clock in the afternoon, because
yeah.
I've got a 5 o'clock story that's due. I've got a 6 o'clock story that's due. I've got a web story that's due. And so, like, I need to be able to meet you today at 11. That is the nature of the news beast. It is immediate. It is today. It is right now. And there are those who get the opportunity to be interviewed, and, oh, that's not going to work for me. I can't do it today.
Then you miss your opportunity. That's it.
That's great. Yeah. You know what? Your competition can.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
oftentimes that was the attitude that I took. Now, there was some pride
Right.
Admittedly,
Right.
what?
Yeah.
You're turning me down. I work at the number one station. Have you
Yeah.
lost your mind?
Are you
That's
nuts?
fine. You don't want the free publicity? No problem. Your
Yeah.
competition does. Have a great day.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
but the reality is that yes, if you are not prepared, if you are not in a position to say, absolutely, can you be here in 30 minutes? If you're not in that position, then they are going to go to your competition. They are going to find someone else because that is the story that have been assigned to do. And that's not a negotiable. No, I'm sorry, I can't come tomorrow. Tomorrow it's
Right.
somebody else,
Oh, that is so true because that's what happened to me. I got a call at 10 o'clock in the morning and said, can you be here at 2? And I was like, do I have a choice? Because you're
Right.
not calling me tomorrow. So
Right. Right.
that's what I did. You know what? It's funny because we were talking about being prepared. It's a good thing my nails were done because they
Yeah.
focused on those.
That's
They
right.
right in my lap. I hope you can't even go back and find that segment, to be honest with you, because it was, oh my gosh. And here's the thing. I don't know that I was prepared mentally. It was so soon after my son had died
Yeah.
and it's a lot different now. I've been
Right.
on stages, I've done other things. I am so prepared. I'm always prepared. I don't believe that I was prepared,
Yeah.
and even though it was 7 years, my book had just launched. It was scary in itself.
Yeah.
You're having people tell you, hey, I can't get past page 39. It's too distraught. I'm bawling my eyes out, and you just think, oh my gosh, that's not what I wanted. And then they're going,
Right.
oh, come and be on NBC channel 33. I'm like, oh, I'm not prepared.
Right.
I went ill prepared, I guess, for that. So I'll never make that mistake again and haven't.
Well, and something that television provides is that, all right, now you've done it. So the next time is not only is the next time easier
Oh yeah.
to be interviewed, but to get the opportunity to have a next time, because television doesn't just offer these opportunities to everyone.
Right.
And so to land one interview, that then makes landing interview 2, interview 3, interview 12 a lot easier because a station's already taken a chance and you've already proven yourself. Particularly as it relates to businesses, it makes it a lot easier to then go to a different market. I worked with a girl in Kansas City. She's on Kansas City TV, had the opportunity to be in Phoenix. I said, Phoenix, this is what she does in Kansas City. Sent a link. Phoenix said, great. When are you guys in town? Let's coordinate it. Let's make it happen. And it was that simple.
Right.
Because she's on Kansas City TV. And so similarly, you've got the background, even if in your opinion, it was not maybe what you would consider your most finest moment on air. You do have that. And so you've got that intangible credibility marker where another station is going to look at that and go, oh, she's already been interviewed. Yeah, that's fine. Bring her on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I've been on so many podcasts too. And most of everything that I've had done has been recorded, TV too. So, doing a show in Dallas that was recorded, that's a lot easier to do that, but yeah, I'm not shy. So what would you say to the person that is?
I would ask that person, what are their hopes? What are their goals? What is their vision for why they want the media attention in the first place? Not what other people tell them they should have. What do they want?
Right.
And if they want that positive publicity on their business, we're able to work through the sweaty hands, the sweaty armpits, the fear of what am I going to say? And am I going to mess up? And, oh, they're going to make fun of me. We're able to work through that. Right. That's the easy part. And then when you get to the interview, you're able to sit there and have a conversation just like how you and I are doing right now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I believe anybody can do it. They can just, if they could just take a deep breath and look at their why, right? So why are you doing this? Who are you going to impact? Take the focus off of yourself and more of who am I impacting by doing this segment for TV? Who's going to be impacted from this? And why am I doing this? What is the why? Is it to grow your business? Is it to impact others? Is it to serve, educate, to announce whatever it is that you're doing. If you can tap into that, I do believe that anyone can step out and do it. So, Michele, before we wrap up, can you give my listeners just three really good tips, just three good tips? If they're going, they've been selected, right? They're going on media. What are three tips that you would give a woman that was called today and needed to be somewhere in an hour, and maybe she's been on television before, maybe she hasn't?
I'm going to offer a couple of options. If they have been booked for a lifestyle show or a morning show, then my three tips are: make it visual. TV is a visual medium. They don't want to sit there and look at your face. They want to watch you do something. They want to watch you demonstrate something. They want there to be some form of education to the viewer. In the business, we called it viewer benefit. So what's your viewer benefit? The second option, or the second thing that I would tell you, if you're going to go be on television today, send 5 talking points, 5 questions to that producer, to the person that you're communicating with. Send them 5 questions, because now the host gets those 5 questions, and 9 times out of 10, that's exactly what you're going to be asked. Right. So that eliminates the fear of, oh my gosh, what if they ask me something I don't know? Well, you've just provided them 5 questions. They may only ask you the first 2, but you still know the answer.
Right.
The third is 2 parts. The third one, number 3A, would be know the difference between your arrival time and your on-air time. Huge difference. And clarify that. If they say, we need you here at 2:30, is that my arrival time or is that my on-air time? Because your on-air time might be 2:30. That means you need to be there at 2:15. Right. So always clarify. And then 3B would be follow up with a thank you. Do what our grandmas taught us to do and send a thank you. Send a thank you email every time, because that makes you memorable. And that also gets you invited back. Now, if a reporter called and said, I'll be there in 30 minutes, at that point, you take a deep breath. You can offer to give them talking points. Chances are real good that a reporter may already have some questions in their mind that they are coming to ask you. Sure. You have a conversation with that reporter. You are gracious. You, again, make it about the viewer if it's appropriate. And you always follow up with a thank you, even with the reporter.
I love those tips. And I completely agree, because I think sometimes we forget that follow-up, right? And I love the tip. I love the tip where you said viewer benefit, because that is the impact. And that's what we were talking about. What impact are you going to have on the viewer? Because they don't, just like I don't do, I used to call them Friday Fire messages when my show aired on Fridays and it was just me. And now the show airs on Mondays, and I've brought my guest back, because the impact that I want to give to my listeners, and we have so many of them, is I want to give them every single woman that can plant seeds. This is something I can't talk to the audience about or talk to my listeners about. So it's great to have people like you on, Michele, because it's at the end of the day, it's the impact. You know, my goal, and it's on my vision board, which I actually just made. I'm ahead of the game, girl. I am ahead of the game. Yes. Here it is. Here it is. October. Is it October yet? Yes, it is. Yes. October 2024. And this was made last weekend. I mean, normally I'm like piecing it together, but I got my vision board done. It sits across from my desk, and I can look at that vision, and it says on there, podcast 1 million women, because I see that every day. And that's the impact that I want to make to 1 women. And it's going to be people like you coming on and planting those seeds, so they can see what's out there and what can actually happen for them. Because I think some women, and I know some of my listeners are going, oh, Cherie, it's too late for me. I'm in my 50s. Oh, it's too late for me. I'm in my 60s. Or, I just got a divorce and I don't have, I can't rub 2 pennies together. I'm a broke joke, I think that sometimes it takes someone to plant a seed and inspiration and encourage them that you're not too young, you're not too old. God has put something in your heart and desire. You need to go with it, because it's planted there for you. This is your calling. This is your time. Everyone's born on purpose for a purpose. So I appreciate you, Michele. Thank you so much. Tell everybody where we can find you, because I know
Yes.
there's people going, where is this woman and how is she going to help me?
Yes. And I would love to help your listeners. My website is, of course, it's www, but it is memorableresultsmedia.com. That's what I provide my clients, or memorable results, memorableresultsmedia.com. I am also Memorable Results Media on Instagram. And then I am Michele Rupp on LinkedIn. I really play on Instagram. I'm playing a little bit more on LinkedIn. You can find me on Facebook, but I really am not playing on Facebook. But Instagram's a great place to connect, as well as the website. I would love to hear from your listeners. You hit the nail on the head. Everyone has a story, and sometimes we just need a little polish to pull that story out. And your listeners, your business leaders, your business influencers, they all have stories. They are all worthy of being on television. Television's free,
That's right.
It's another free tool to get their message out. And you have the opportunity to reach more people on television than what you are reaching on social media, because we know the algorithm not showing our stuff to a large percentage. Whereas in television, the data proves it's ridiculous, the numbers of local viewership that businesses can get in front of to help make a difference.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michele. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Cherie Rickard Show. I hope you feel inspired and empowered to take action in your life today. Before we wrap up, I'm excited to share that 2025 is going to be an incredible year for transformation. I am offering an exclusive Queen Bee coaching opportunity designed to help you rebuild, transform, and prosper in every area of your life. Plus, we're gearing up for the Queen Bee Transformation Conference and Retreat. This is going to be a life-changing event where we will dive deep into faith, healing, and the power of creating the life that you deserve. This is your time to reclaim your story, and I'll be right here with you. Be sure to subscribe to the show, share it with someone who needs a little encouragement today. Follow me on social media at The Cherie Rickard Show for updates on everything we have coming your way. Until next time, keep shining and keep believing, because you are chosen and you are